Mike, are we live?
I think we're. Do we hear everyone's voices? Pete, did you talk?
Hello.
Anto, we can hear your beautiful voice.
As long as we don't hear Antonio, I think we're good.
Oh, wow.
Shots fired.
How many months has it been since we've all been together at this table?
Been a while.
It's been quite some
There are
time.
a bunch of slackers in this table, you know.
Perfect life. What do you got there? Tide. What Italian you got there?
Real life.
Oh, real life.
It's spelled wrong.
Real life.
I'm not surprised.
But it's real like a fish.
What happened to your culture shirt? You always see you with culture
I
shirts.
came straight for work because I was under the impression that both of you were already ready to go. I said, oh, let me not just make them wait.
We're ready to go, but
I'm
you have
never
to
gonna
get
have
beat
the-
up in football. That's the problem.
Anto, unbelievable. The slander here.
Can we get down to the
Yeah, let's get down
The
to the
nitty-gritty?
nitty-gritty.
into the trench and find out what's going on, what went on last week?
Yeah, let's talk about it, guys. Let's talk about the season. Welcome back to the podcast. Welcome back to all of us. I think it'll be fun to have all of our opinions once again. What a crazy, again, I feel like every single week we know the madness that is. Finally, we do know the top four, though. It's official. The four teams that will be playing in the Champions League. We don't know the exact order yet, but we know that Milan, Inter, Napoli, and Juventus will be the four squads because Roma tied against Bologna, which means mathematically the four squads are officially in for the top four.
And specifically for that, Marco, not everyone put. I think me and you, if I'm not mistaken, are the only ones that put those teams in the top four.
Take
I'm
it
just
easy.
saying. Wait, what? Tell me.
Take it easy.
Why?
Because Pete said that me and him were the ones that had the top five.
I mean, we can go back to
but-
the predictions.
but
We
who
have
cares?
no problem. We got them right in front of us.
Who cares about the top five?
What do you
We're
mean?
talking about Champions
Top
League.
four champions.
By the way, how many of you got the number one, the first place so far?
We don't know.
No, we don't know it.
the first
It's
place
not.
is.
It's not
So
finished.
if I just go real quick,
All right, take it back, guys. I should never say that.
if I go real quick, Antonio had Milan, Roma, Napoli, and Inter. So Juventus was your surprise because you had Juventus out of Champions League.
Roma
and
too.
Roma in second place.
Shame on you, Anto.
Okay.
Okay. Mike had Inter, Milan, Napoli, Juventus. Almost exactly what the
Not
league
bad,
table looks like
not
right
bad.
now. I had Inter, Milan, Juventus, Napoli. So just Juventus and Napoli flipped around from yours. Peter had Inter, Napoli, Milan, and Roma. Again, high praise for Roma.
Mourinho.
And no faith in Juventus. And then my dad had Inter, Milan, Napoli, and Roma. Again, all the rest of you had Roma in your top four.
Yeah, because of Mourinho and Abraham and all the stuff. So we got hyped up, and then we didn't realize that Mourinho is such a Mourinho. It's like un mulo.
So did
Mourinho.
Juventus just impress all of you guys, considering that you didn't have them in your
No,
top
they did
four?
not impress us because all they did is they took away Vlahovic from Fiorentina. If it wasn't for that, they would be lagging on the 7-8 place. That's all.
I think without Vlahovic, Juve risk fourth place. I still believe that. I believe that to find the goals, they probably would have made their way there. But I just thought maybe Roma was gonna be able to do a little bit more, but they're right where they're supposed to be.
How about for you? What do you have to say for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, Juventus, the way they were playing at the time that we did this.
This was after the Mercato ended.
Yeah.
So we did it right after the transfer.
Ronaldo.
The first one, I don't even want you guys to see who
Right,
you predicted
right.
in the
But
top.
why don't you bring that one up? Then
This guy you guys both had Lazio in like seventh place. I think you had Inter in like fifth place. You had Lazio in second. It was wild predictions. Anyway, but that was before.
I wanted to see that.
A few more sips
Can
of
you
that guy,
resurrect
Ronaldo.
that? Why don't you bring that up?
And by the way, everyone else had Juventus winning the league at that point. The rest
Ronaldo
of them except you.
effect.
Not me.
Not you.
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of changes from there. But the biggest change, I mean, Juventus was not really playing good football. We have to say that.
Are they playing good football now?
They struggle, but they're winning those games that in the beginning of the year they couldn't win. Now they always get that 1-0 win and play defense and get through. But like he said, Vlahovic, without Vlahovic, they wouldn't have been there.
Well,
I don't think they would have been.
Did you watch the match against Venezia? Did you see the game?
No.
All right. Well, the game. Did anyone see it?
No, I was playing. I was in the field.
6:30 in the morning.
No, well, 6:30 in the morning.
6:30 a.m.
Well, 6:30 I was getting ready under the shower because I hit Villabat at 7:30. So
I respect the honesty. Well, the game against Venezia, it nearly became one of those. It was 1-1 the first leg, right? Venezia came back and tied it 1-1, and I thought it was going to end like that. Just because Juventus is just so wasteful in their chances. Like every time I'm watching them, I don't see the opportunities created for Vlahovic much. I know that they officially qualified for Champions League, and we'll definitely hit on that. But for me, at least, the thing that kept catching my eye was two things. Number one, Miretti, the young kid born in 2003 that played in the midfields for Juventus, did really good. I was happy that at least Allegri started playing this young player who's from the Primavera side. I know he went viral because of the quote that he said like a couple weeks ago where he said, you can't expect a 28-year-old to have the same maturity as a 20-year-old. So Allegri is often known as not playing these youngsters. But in opportunities where you know the top four is secured, basically, why not give the kid a go? And honestly, for the lack of quality that's in Juve's midfield, I thought he did a pretty good job, and he looked good. The only way he's going to improve is if he makes the mistakes, and what better time to make mistakes than in a match against Venezia. The other thing that struck me is, I'm watching Vlahovic, and Vlahovic looked annoyed during the match. He barely gets a service that he was getting at Fiorentina. The team really doesn't play for him. He's not exactly that type of striker that creates opportunities for his own. I know that probably you could find scenarios where he did do that, but he's really a service striker. You need to put the ball on his feet, and then he could be amazing. And then he got subbed out by Chiellini when I was like, there's no way that he's subbing Vlahovic out for Chiellini. Leave the guy in, let him score.
One, yeah.
And you could see his face that he was visibly annoyed.
But that's typical Allegri, As soon as he sees that he's winning 1-0 and there's 20 minutes left in the game, he changes things around so that he has to defend, and he puts Chiellini because Chiellini, he knows he's not going to make a mistake. Chiellini is always there, presence, tough, fighting. And as far as Vlahovic is concerned, I'm very disappointed that he does not get the balls that he's supposed to get. And I thought with him and Dybala, they will speak the same language, and they will be able to do some nice things. But maybe we have to wait for Chiesa to be that creative player that gives him the right balls.
Bonucci had to score 2 goals. The center back had to score 2 goals to beat Venezia. I think for Juventus, though, we'll tailor the season in that the season, all things considered, I think there was one point in November that we didn't even think that they were going to get top 4. I mean, even you guys didn't have top 4 in August, September. So I think that there's probably bitterness when they look back in certain results that they should have been able to manage better. First leg against Venezia, Empoli, Udinese, even the game against Inter where they did really good. I think just going, so it's good. They need to get this foundation of getting Champions League. Last year, let's not forget that they didn't have Champions League until Farione scored a goal in the 70-something minute, and Napoli is the one who shot themselves in the foot, which is the only reason why they got Champions League. So to secure it 4 days, 4 rounds in advance is pretty good. But next year, you need to see the improvements.
Yeah. What do you mean for improvement?
Well, we just said that they're not
competing for the
look
Scudetto,
at the attackers.
playing the better.
Yeah, the attackers are not really servicing Vlahovic.
Champions League.
There's no plays. Like when you watch Juventus, there's no plays. They just build off of like counterattacks. There's no like 1-2s. There's no guys that know where they have to be and finding space and midfielders.
But there's no creativity in the midfield. So once you don't have the creativity in the midfield, that's it.
Yeah.
So
what were you gonna say, P?
I was just gonna say I think definitely getting into Champions League is very important for the Juventus team, because this is going to be a year where you have to make certain changes in the Mercato. You have an aging defense, right, with Chiellini and Bonucci. Now the league has taken over completely this season, where in the beginning of the season there was some complaints, right? The league wasn't sure if he wanted to stay, if he wanted to leave, because Allegri was opting for that Chiellini-Bonucci pair. But I think the league, you have to give him the keys to that defense. I think you can find a solid center-back with him. Even Rugani at times this year performed a lot better than his recent form. And then, with the additions of Chiesa coming back from injury, of Vlahovic that has a full preseason with the team, the midfield definitely with Zakaria, you're going to add a little bit more strength and mobility and chances to score, but you need that extra piece in that midfield, maybe another winger. But Cuadrado has always been a solid. So you guys have the pieces there to potentially compete. I just think, going back, but when Juventus let go of Ronaldo, I think you kind of surrendered the year in a sense where you said, okay, we're not gonna. This is a rebuild type of year.
Don't expect a lot, you're saying.
Not so much don't expect a lot, but I think that definitely influenced a lot of the players' minds, I think, in the beginning of the season. When you do lose a top player like Cristiano Ronaldo, I think even Chiellini mentioned in the past that there was a little bit of a shock
Yeah.
period.
And then he was never replaced.
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
Where,
Okay.
where would they have been if they had Vlahovic?
If
they replaced him with Vlahovic
From the beginning?
Yes, in August. Where would they have been?
Well, you needed somebody else though. You needed Chiesa to be there for the whole year, because we see now without somebody that serves Vlahovic the right way, he's still struggling. He's still struggling the last few games. So they would probably would have been able to maybe third place. They could have easily been third place, but not too much.
I agree with you on that part, Gaetano. Overall, even though Vlahovic is a great striker, there's only so much he could do.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, he's not at
You
the
built
status
up-
of Ronaldo.
yeah, exactly.
yet.
Like you can
You know, and
build
it's
some
fair.
opportunities, but at the end of the day, Fiorentina, believe it or not, he had better service over there, so he was banging in more goals. They played more attacking football, and this game in particular, this was hard for me to watch in terms of I wasn't home with a computer, so I was actually watching it through the Paramount app, of course, our sponsor for this season. You can watch it anywhere, of course. Anto, you told us you're going to Miami in a few days. Where are you going to be watching the games on?
You want to know?
Tell me.
On Paramount Plus.
Anto, let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
You're such a handyman with what you do. Can't you put a screen in your shower so that way you don't miss the games?
Ooh.
On my shower?
In your shower, yeah.
You
can't
what
do
makes you
that?
think that I spend a lot of time on my shower?
You say you're taking
You say
a
you're
shower.
taking a shower.
For
You
Juventus,
missed the Juventus game.
Oh, wow.
That's a good
All right,
Pete, I
so-
actually-
His wife's gonna kick him out if he puts a TV in the shower.
He's definitely going to be there all day. But if you do
A
want...
better question would have been, can you put one in the doghouse?
That's where you're gonna
But
end up.
Anto, regardless, if you are
Listen, watch your father, because I'm one of these days. I'm gonna. You see what we did before he got into the studio.
You scared him.
I'm gonna bite him like an octopus.
Oh.
Anyway, listen
You
to
better
me.
watch out.
Listen to me, guys. Listen to me.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm not gonna watch the game on ESPN Plus. When anything is a plus right now, CNN Plus, ESPN Plus. The only lifeline that we have on our life, it's Paramount Plus. Paramount
You can't watch
Plus.
the game anywhere else.
Paramount Plus.
You can't watch it anywhere else.
That's what I'm saying. This is our lifeline. It's like somebody's struggling on the ocean. You throw them the lifeline, and that's Paramount Plus. You
The
just
lifeline is Paramount
grab it, and you watch the game. Before I got over here, I said to myself, let me double check. I was driving, and then Atalanta was finishing up the game, because I didn't realize that Atalanta was playing, because I was in the middle of some garbage. And then I said, oh my God, look at this. I can only find out those things on Paramount Plus. Not from Mike, not from you. It's all in my phone. It's my lifeline. And lifeline name is Paramount Plus. Now ask me about Juventus. I'll tell you about Juventus.
And if people want to see, where's the link, Anto?
The link is on the top of the screen.
Description.
And the description. And all you have to do, press is 1 week for free.
That's right.
1
You
week
got
for
it.
free. And the saving, you get a coupon over there. What do you get?
For a year.
For a year.
You save.
You save $10.
Wow.
$10.
He doesn't know exactly how much you save. Just check it. You save
Check
you
it
save
out.
something.
You save 2 months if you buy the subscription for
For
1
the
year.
year.
Instead of doing month by month, you do 1 year, save $10 for yourself.
Just the
Deal
only
of a
reason it's good,
lifetime.
if nobody's watching Serie A yet, it's just the Scudetto race is going down to
It's
the
a
wire.
must. It's a must.
And it's going
And
to be really
relegation.
fun to watch.
And at the bottom, too.
Yeah.
point.
The relegation
Listen,
battle.
guys, listen. No, ask me about Juventus, because you guys went around.
No, I think it's good. We'll
No.
move on.
I'm going to give you my peace of mind about that. Okay, listen to me. First of all, you guys are making a big assumption that when Chiesa comes back, between Chiesa, Vlahovic, Chiesa is going to give the assist to Vlahovic. He ain't doing shit. First of all, Chiesa is looking for his own balls. And he looks to be fed his own percentage of ball. He's not going to put Vlahovic all the time on the position to score. Obviously, when there is no other option for him, he might have to do that. But don't expect even Chiesa to come as healthy as you think. You guys are making assumption many times that are kind of scary. If Chiesa doesn't come back, okay, healthy, you guys have to be looking for somebody else. And you making a huge mistake by letting La Joya or Dybala going. Okay? La Joya, whatever.
I thought you spoke Spanish.
Oh, well, I can speak.
He has a Barese accent.
Sí, puedo hablar español. Amigos. So listen,
Great.
this is it.
Listen, Antonio, Chiesa is not going to be able to resolve all the problems. You need to get the midfielders also that need to help the forwards. and those midfielders are very important. Because if the midfielders from Juventus, they don't score that many goals, so you need
Rabiot
that.
has 0 goals this year.
Huh?
Rabiot has 0 goals.
That's what I'm saying. If you could get a Milankovic in that team, I mean, the ideal player for Vlahovic, which you can never get. If you had, can you imagine about like De Bruyne playing with Vlahovic?
What else do you need?
And
Do you need
Milankovic?
Leao? Do you need Leao too?
Can you imagine?
You need Barella too,
you
by
know,
the way? So listen.
You need a good midfielders to support them. So Milinkovic, I think it's a possibility, but then you need
like Pogba?
Pogba. I thought about Pogba.
He's a free transfer. He has high wages, though, is the thing.
Flashback.
I wouldn't take him.
He's been struggling. I don't know what the problem is with Pogba because he's been struggling with Man United. So I would like to find out more. I
never liked his positioning. Obviously I didn't watch enough games, but I always thought he had too many defensive duties. And the really great thing about Pogba is that he could go up. You mentioned Leao, so I think we got to talk about the Scudetto race. Your boy Leao scored the winner in a very important match against Fiorentina, a match that really you needed to win. You needed to set the momentum. You had a lot of opportunities. It was a back and forth game. Both sides extremely open. Not much midfield to play. Just very direct. I thought Fiorentina had their opportunities with Cabral and your goalkeeper Magnan. By the way,
one opportunity.
No, they had more than one opportunity. I think Saponara had one as well.
Yeah, it's all right.
Terrace, great assist also.
Your goalkeeper, I have to say, you guys did an unbelievable job getting Magnan. Best goalkeeper in Serie A by far. And the fact that you lost the best goalkeeper, and then you still got the best goalkeeper. You lost Donnarumma, who was the best in the league, and then you got this guy Magnan, and he came in and he walked in as the best. What a job by Maldini and co, because that was brilliant. And Leao, game changer. I feel like up top you guys always lack a little bit, but he helped you, and he finished it off. And this could be the deciding moment for you in the Scudetto, because you still have one opportunity to tie a game, right? Let's assume Inter wins all their matches. You could still tie a game, and you'll be able to win the Scudetto if you win the remaining 2. How do you feel?
First of all, we didn't win anything yet. Okay, I know you guys are trying to entrap me or you're trying to set me up with this and that, because then at some point you're going to go back.
You predicted Milan winning the Scudetto.
Yeah, I did. But until the fat lady sings, I'm going to just keep my mouth quiet and I'm going to let
that won't work for a podcast. We need your opinion.
You need my opinion. My opinion is right now I'm in first place and I feel much better than you guys feel, okay? So that's my opinion right now. So,
are you optimistic going into the matches against Verona, Atalanta, and Sassuolo?
Why shouldn't I? I am.
Asking.
The tough teams, those are the teams that we need to play, and we're not scared of the tough teams. The little teams, like the Empoli, like the Spezia, those are the teams that they really, because all they do, they just they park their bus on the defense, and then they're waiting for us to make a little mistake, and then to capitalize on anything.
Were you nervous though how they came out against Fiorentina? Like they just won by a mistake by the goalkeeper.
Well, first of all, Mike, I watched it again when I went back home because I was playing in the morning. I went back home and I said, I got to watch it again.
Of course.
I watched the game from the first second to the last one. AC Milan created a lot of opportunities. Fiorentina, few. 3, 4 top, but AC Milan was constantly.
It's about finishing your opportunities.
Yeah, I know, but we were pounding. Giroud, a couple times, it was like even Peter would have scored
a big chance
on Giroud's chance. Okay, not to say anything bad about Peter, but what I'm trying to say is that we had a lot of chances. So the fact that finally we scored with Leao, and the goal, even though you guys are claiming Terracciano's mistake. The Leao got the ball almost on midfield, and then he walked all the way, and then he was able to take the shot. Yeah, what I'm saying, it's not that he gave it the ball on the top of the box and he took the shot.
Is there anything that you're scared of going into these last 3 games? Like, if there's one fear of this Milan side, is there any?
To be honest with you, having seen Atalanta's performance lately, that was one of the teams that really scares me. And even Sassuolo lately has been dropping a lot of points. I feel confident that we'll win 2 out of 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything on Peter? Obviously, you're the anti-Milan because you're from the Inter side. When you've watched your destiny fall out of your hands, you've seen it in Milan's, but Milan has shown that they could slip up in games. How do you feel right now?
Milan, I think defensively have really shown something this year. Going forward, you do have Giroud. Ibrahimovic is coming off the bench. You don't know what you got. And, a lot of, I guess, the weight of Milan to score has to be on Leao's shoulders. And I think this year, he's really come into the league, and he's a force to be reckoned with. I think as far as a young talent within Serie A, his name, if he's not number one, he's in the top three, because his ability, both from a physical standpoint but also technical standpoint, for his size, he's just something really special. And I hope Milan are able to hold on to him for a long time. But these are the games that everything looks like you're not going to be able to score, you're not going to be able to win, even though all the chances that you created, Leao missed, Giroud missed. There was a lot of chances there. Milan, if they would have got one of those goals, maybe would have calmed a little bit of the nerves. But getting that chance, like he said, like the goalkeeper gifted Leao the ball, but Leao still had to do the work. And the goalkeeper actually made two mistakes if you look at Terrace, because he got beat on the first post. You're never supposed to get beat there. But Leao was quick and smart to be able to put that ball in that corner. And you got that win, 1-0. Now, as an Inter fan, obviously, that was demoralizing, I think, because this was a game I thought you guys were going to slip up more than anything else. And just having, even if it was a tie, I think a lot of pressure would have mounted on you guys coming to, going to Verona, which Hellas Verona has been a very tough team to play, especially at home. Atalanta, even though the recent form is poor, I think they'll step up versus Milan, so it will be a tough game. And then Sassuolo is the last game, so unless Sassuolo, the coach is able to really get these guys motivated to kind of spoil Milan's fun, I think you guys should be able to win. So I think the Hellas Verona game might be the most tricky game for you guys.
How are you feeling? How do you feel about it?
How do I feel? I think.
Do you still feel optimistic? Are you confident that they'll slip up?
Yeah, there is.
Let's see. That's why.
Am I confident that they slip up? The thing is, we had the opportunity, and I think a team that's going to win, and you're going to be the Serie A champion, you have to take that opportunity when you have the chance. So that Bologna game, I think, really hurt Inter's chances to win the Scudetto. This year, like I said in the past, it's a year that there is no real champion. For me, like what we've been used to seeing, or some of the top teams, a lot of these teams, both Inter, Milan, and Napoli, have not been able to really capitalize any opportunities throughout the season. So, although I think Milan are going to be able to push it through, I do see them slipping one game. The only difference is it going to be a tie or is it going to be a loss? They will slip a game, but it depends on how things work out. It's just, Inter lost that opportunity. Now they just have to win out what they can, and then hope that Milan lose the Scudetto, because that's the only time that we can win.
So 4 out of 5 of us had Inter winning the Scudetto. Only Antonio had Milan. How impressive has this Milan side been that they're fighting for the Scudetto in your eyes?
Well, I thought they were going to slip up against Fiorentina. I thought Fiorentina, after coming those 2 losses, and Italiano was going to get enough to at least get a point. I thought for sure they were going to get a point from the game. And even though Milan, I thought it played better than Fiorentina, I thought Fiorentina will get, you need a little bit of luck, and they will be able to get 1 point. And the way they lost, too bad, because with what the goalkeeper, we'll talk about goalkeepers later if you guys want to, because I got a lot about the goalkeepers. No, I was impressed with AC Milan, and I thought that Italiano should have done a better job on Leao. Leao likes to start from far. Don't let him get the ball there, because once he takes the ball and he takes off, you can't stop him anymore. But if you try to stop him before he gets the ball, pick him up tight, double him up when he gets the ball. So I thought Italiano did a bad job. But I was impressed with AC Milan because they did play better than Fiorentina. They deserved to win the game. And thinking back now, and I should have bet on Pioli and Maldini rather than Inzaghi.
Why?
I believe that when it comes down to the nitty-gritty, when it comes down really, I think that Pioli and Maldini, that the two of them are able to prepare the team better than Inzaghi can prepare the team.
But Pioli's never won before.
But he's got Maldini
At the helm over
next
there,
to
right?
him, which does help us a lot.
And Ibra.
Going back to and Ibra too, because Ibra helps out in the locker room, in the bench. He helps out everywhere. With Inzaghi, I was never a big fan of Inzaghi when he was with Lazio. You know, even though at one point Inter was playing really good, they were really playing good soccer. They were winning, but he screwed up. He screwed up some games against AC Milan. You're winning the game. He made some stupid substitution. Then this guy, he could have been 7 points up.
What about us? We could have been 7 points up.
Okay, but
One thing at a time.
but they didn't, and you guys came through, and you did. And now, after you beat Fiorentina, I think you're gonna fly high.
You don't see them slipping up in the last two games.
No, I don't think so. I thought they were going to slip up against Fiorentina. I was sure that they were going to get 1 point, at least 1 point.
Gaetano, you know,
Look at the smile on this guy's
Can I
face.
reply to him? Because I really,
Okay,
this is
go.
really, I gotta do it now,
Go,
Mike.
go.
This guy here that you're next to you, your right hand man over there.
Braccio
While AC Milan was playing Lazio, forget about the Fiorentina, it was yesterday. While AC Milan was playing Lazio, he goes on our private chat. He says, "Pip, pip, 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 pip. I see Lazio at least walking away with 1 point when Lazio was winning 1-0. Then all of a sudden, AC Milan tied the game, and then boom, wound up winning the game, and then the chat went dead. That's this guy here, you see? That's
Well,
why.
I said the same thing with Fiorentina.
Yeah.
I said that they were going to get 1 point.
That's true.
So now, don't believe what he just said. AC Milan can slip up. AC Milan can slip up. It will slip up either against Sassuolo, because it's probably going to be the last game, or Verona. Verona will take a tie. That's the only team that scares me. But other than that, I think we're going to take 2 out of 3.
For me, I think the big question mark. Let's talk about the concrete first. Milan have been incredible in defense, of course, second best defense in Europe, and they only conceded 1 goal in their past 8 Serie A games, so incredible there. The question mark for me, though, is that attack. The past few months, I feel like it's hard for them to convert their chances and really score. And the big question mark for me is, are they going to get caught in one of these matches and get a draw or pick up a loss on the way? Because every time, I feel like it's them trying to pull teeth for them to get a goal. And if they concede or if they don't get that goal with 3 matches left, how much, you know what I feel like they're running themselves thin. They're running out of creativity up top. They're not converting. I think
Isn't that different with Inter? Inter is the last
Like,
couple
isn't
games
this
have
true?
barely
Yeah, Marco is
been
right.
able
Isn't this
to-
true
to
for
win and
everybody?
barely been
This is
able-
the same thing to everybody. Everybody is scrambling to win by 1 goal. We're not winning by 6 or 7 goals. Defense
No,
is tight.
I get that part, but I just feel like for Milan in attack, I don't know if the biggest surprise I don't know if Inter or Milan can take. Like, if you tell me right now who's gonna win it, I wouldn't be surprised if Milan win it or Inter take it. I think it's just gonna go back and forth, and I think it's gonna be.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
No. But I'm just saying.
Nobody would be surprised.
I don't think there's gonna be
It's
like
only 1 game.
It's 2 good teams. They're 2
it's
very
two
good teams.
But
That's it.
I don't know with Milan. There's something with their attack. It's just like it's hard for them to muster up a goal.
Okay, let
to
me
win
do
it,
this then. I
know?
think you are
You gotta talk in the
hoping
mic.
you are hoping that AC Milan slips up.
No,
End
it's
of the
not
story.
that. It's not. It's obviously not that. I
What
just
is it
see
then?
when
Okay.
I see them play, I feel
What is
like
it?
it's hard for them to score.
Well, watch Inter then.
Yeah, I think towards the end of the seasons,
Yeah.
especially where there's a lot of on the line, they're human. These players
Yeah.
are human.
No, I get
so
that.
there's that
Yeah,
added
but-
pressure that you can't slip up, you can't make that mistake. So the margins of error are very small as it is. Then when you get to this point, it's even harder.
All right, then I'm
Speaking
gonna
of
Marco. I'm gonna
slipping
go
up.
out of this way. I'm gonna make a quote. I'm gonna make a quote.
Anto,
If AC
relax.
Milan wins Sunday against Verona, the campionato is over. Just quote me on
Very
that,
good.
and that's it.
We got you. Speaking about slipping up, what's your thing about goalkeepers?
Oh my God.
Let's hear this
Let's
one.
start.
So, if I was a coach of Serie A, I would make a rule on the team. You never pass the ball back to a goalkeeper if there is an opponent inside the area. Never. Okay? I have seen, in the last few weeks, but I've been looking at goalkeepers for a long time, and I always commented. Meret. Look at what Meret did a few weeks ago. Look at what Buffon did
Yeah.
a couple of weeks ago. Look at what Radu did. Okay. Radu. Okay. Why? Because they practice. Yeah, when they practice, what they do, they give the ball back, they stop, they go. But that's not a game situation. The game situation is when you pass the ball back and they have a center forward or a forward running into you, that's totally different. The goalkeeper is not made to handle the ball with pressure on him. If the ball is at the midfield, okay, and he gets and he's got nobody inside the area, give it back to the keeper. I have no problem with that. And all this baloney, you start from the back and then you base and this
the build up.
And the build up. That's fine if you don't have anybody inside the area. If you got, I see it all the time. The goalkeeper has got the ball. He's got a defender 2 yards from him, and there's two center forwards inside the area, and they're passing the ball back and forth. That's to me, I would never allow that.
You know what I would love? I would love for you to be right here and have Guardiola and you guys to discuss this.
Oh, I would love that. But there was one time that Allegri said, he goes, I checked the timing and I checked that Buffon touched the ball more than my midfielders. He goes, I went crazy. And he is right. There are some teams that they touch the ball. Now, one thing about Guardiola, okay? All the teams, they're not like Barcelona, okay? There was only one Barcelona with Iniesta when Iniesta was there and Xavi was there and Messi was there. I mean, those guys, they can play one touch like I have never seen any other team. So now don't tell me that teams like, from the bottom of the Serie A, now they want to play all this touch and touch. No, you cannot do it. Not even the top teams in Serie A can do it with the goalkeepers. Even the goalkeeper of Neuer from Germany makes Donnarumma make mistake. Neuer makes mistake. Alisson made mistake. All the best goalkeepers under pressure, they will make mistakes. So why take the chance? Why take the chance? Look at it, what happened to Inter. I mean, that could cost them the Scudetto. Look at Napoli.
Smile, I thought you just
Napoli, I think Napoli should be.
Yeah.
Fans are furious, especially after what you did to Sassuolo.
If Guardiola was here, of course, I mean, he's dealing. Menzi, he's got
top players,
the top of the line. Barcelona, the top of the line. But the other teams, maybe there's going to be one team who can do that, but not the other team don't do it.
I think their argument would be that yes, you're looking at the moments where they've messed up, but you're not looking at the moments that they've created space because they were able to pass back and build out of the back. That they were able to.
I have no problem with that, but there's not going to be as long as there's nobody inside the area.
Okay, guys, I'm going to say something very important, just to pick up on what Gaetano was saying. During those old days, you guys were probably just about born. The portiere had the job that as soon as the ball is inside, I mean, you don't pick up the ball from the outside. La rimessa in gioco. It was the goalkeeper running to the top of the box and pounded the ball, and that allowed the defense to take a little breather, and the pressure was on the midfield and the forward to make something happen, to get the ball, and to, right now the only one that I see doing this, it's rarely that Maignan does, because he's very good with the ball on the ground, and even with his feet. He does the rimessa in gioco, the good old style. That means someone has been talking. Yeah. So that means that someone is talking to him. The rest of the team, like you guys have been witnessing, they're starting with this build up from the inside of the small area.
You are begging for Maignan to mess up by saying all of this with 3 games to go.
Let me tell you something.
You're saying that you don't
Maignan doesn't mess up. He's not going to mess it up.
No, don't even say that.
Okay?
Don't
because
even say
Maignan
that
doesn't
right
do
now.
that. Maignan doesn't do that.
Oh my gosh.
Maignan doesn't do that.
I can already imagine this with the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme song going on top of it, and then showing the mistake.
This is gonna be all over Twitter. This clip of Antonio.
Let's move on to Inter quick. We're very heavy today on our topics. For Inter, they won their game against Udinese. It's really, you didn't comment about their match against Bologna, but you've given your opinion. For me, the way that I still see it, I think Inter is the best team. I still think so. I do think that Milan are going to slip up, and I think that Inter will win in the end. Just because I think that team-wise, their squad is better. But this is football. The ball is round, and it's proven that not always the best team wins. Not always the team that plays the best style or has the best players do win. I think there is merit in the argument that Inzaghi has made poor substitutions. Inzaghi, sometimes the way that he's managed games has been poor. You know, he doesn't. We were talking about this, and we're saying even the match against Udinese, they were running towards to try to score this third goal, like not smart, not in a smart way. They weren't passing the ball around and killing out the match and you know, really seeing out the victory. Sometimes they push a little bit too much, and they could have been exposed, and even Udinese could have scored a couple of goals towards the end. So I think in the end we'll see. Obviously, Milan having this advantage is huge, but when you're looking at the 3 matches, I don't even think you could look at the names of the teams, because the small teams, everyone's saying Inter has an easy schedule, but those are teams that have taken points away from the big dogs, and a lot of them are, you know, they're looking for this opportunity to shine. I know you say Sassuolo has nothing to play for in the end. Atalanta will have nothing to play for. Got to remember, some of these guys from the small teams, this is their moment to shine. They score a goal. Faraoni is remembered by Hellas Verona because of him scoring against Napoli and putting Juventus in Champions League. These are the moments that some of these young kids play for, because it's our opportunity to get spoken about. It's our opportunity maybe for a big team to see them and to cause an upset and spoil the party for everyone else. So for me, I still do think that Inter will win. I know the advantage is with Milan, and if Milan do it right now, I will say that you guys have done an incredible season nonetheless.
What would you bet on? Put your bet on. Let's put a bet on.
You want to bet now?
Oh, yeah. How many bets we put on?
That's so live. We're
What do you
on
want?
podcast.
What's your offer, Anton?
I don't know. So you, the steak, what do you call it? The steak that you guys owed us. Well, let's double the steak. We'll make it a doubles.
Porterhouse.
Listen to this. Okay, first of all, I know you. I think I'm very much against your opinion about that Inter has been playing the best soccer. I don't see that. I really don't. AC Milan has got the best, and Napoli. Napoli is actually even better than Inter. Okay, Inter, they got the speed on the field that they this speed here makes them look kind of good, but other than that, they do not have the system that AC Milan and Napoli they have. AC Milan and Napoli, they attack un gruppo. They have couple. Inter's got 2 or 3.
Inter, I think they have 15 more goals than Milan.
Yeah, because you know, those 15 more goals they were scored when they were 2-0 or 3-0, and then they kept scoring. Okay, that doesn't mean anything. Or penalties, they got a lot of penalties.
I'm not saying it means anything, but yeah. I think if we look 13. At 13 more goals, if we look at Conte and his style, and you see Inzaghi, one thing I do give credit to Inzaghi is the way that he's made this Inter team play, getting a Çalhanoğlu into the mix that took over an Eriksen, losing Lukaku, losing Hakimi, not to be a broken record, but those are important players for this team. And we were still able to bring this offensive style with also not conceding, because Inter also have the best defense, if you can confirm, Mike.
They do have the best defense.
We have the best defense. And that's with Inzaghi style going forward. You know, how many times we saw Bastoni as an additional
So how do you
winger?
have such a good attack and such an amazing defense here? You're in second place.
I think where it comes down to is that we had some bad run of results during that January, February, where we couldn't muster a win. And that really influenced everything. And then I think the head-to-head with Milan, right? We lost 5 points, I believe.
But your point is that you score so many more goals, you concede so much fewer. So how come you guys are this?
Well, he said who plays better football. I think Inter plays the best football overall. Yes. Then as far as the games, I mean, there's probably games that you can look into and say, wow, Inzaghi maybe made mistakes with the substitutions.
For both teams, though, you could say that.
I mean, even with Milan, they drop points.
Yeah, but we're talking about the team that's in second place, not the team that's in first place. Well, there's a reason you're in second place.
I don't really have an excuse, because on paper the team is a well-oiled machine, but they must have been lacking something with certain games. And I think the head-to-head, and especially in the beginning, was a problem.
Would Conte have won the Scudetto by now?
Yes.
Again with his nonsense.
Yes.
We're not going to you.
Yes.
I think Conte would not have let this title have slipped.
Yeah. I had a question.
So that's why I'm not arguing about the team. I'm thinking it's the coaching rather than it is just the team.
But playing well and winning aren't two things that go hand to hand all the time. How many times we see a team play well and they still end up losing? So I don't think that argument is there. I think Conte is a proven winner in what he's been able to do with his teams. And I think especially on the psychological side, the mentality, like you've been referring to, Conte is on another level than Inzaghi. I'm not saying,
concentration-wise.
yeah, I'm not saying Inzaghi can reach. I do think he can maybe reach, but I don't know if he'll ever be a top coach.
But normally you have very good excuses, but this time you didn't really come up with a very good excuse.
He didn't make an excuse.
That's what I'm saying. But normally he's very good at finding excuses. But I gotta tell you something. Inzaghi, to me, given the team that he's been given, he has done a great job. Okay. Could have done a little better. I don't really blame him that much. The only blame is the sub after he's trying to save the game. That's what he got punished 2-3 times. Other than that, I think he did a great job.
I like
Great
to
job.
make a point what Marco said about Conte and what you said about Inzaghi. I want to go on the game Lazio. I saw the first half of Lazio game. The team looked so bad. The team looked like it was not focused. The team looked it was not prepared in the first half. They made so many mistakes, but stupid. And that's what I mean by Conte. I don't think Conte would allow something like that to happen. You know, he would prepare them mentally, psychologically, physically, that what happened to Lazio in the first half, it would never happen to Conte.
I agree with you on that, Gaito. And I was going to ask you a question on top of that. If Milan do manage to win the Scudetto, do you think it's rather that Inter choked with Inzaghi, or you think Milan deserved it? What do you think on that?
Inzaghi choked. That's what I think.
That's interesting.
What about you? What do you think?
I would say that yeah, I agree with that. But I also
right?
but I don't want to take credit away from Milan,
Yeah.
because Milan needed to be there, Milan needed to be present. I still don't think, though, when you look at it on paper, and again, football's not played on paper, and this is a credit to Pioli, that Milan is not they weren't, besides you, they were not the favorites going into this league. That's how I see
Peter,
it.
how about you?
But before you say, because Inzaghi, you said something, Inzaghi, he lost some key players, and we all thought, hey, we're losing those players, he's not going to. So he was able to put the team together. But if you're happy with second place, hey, then Inzaghi did a good job.
That was a backhand compliment.
I'm not. If I was an Inter fan,
Don't feel sorry for him.
I'm not happy.
Oh yeah, but that's exactly the point. I think the way that we're playing is great, but the objective remains to win the Scudetto. And you, as a coach, sometimes have to be able to, relinquish that, style of play or the fact that you have to play good football and win a game. And he did do it versus Juventus, right? When we won 1-0, that was a Allegri, Conte-esque win.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
that also gave us the right momentum moving forward to get these string of results to win, because before that we were really struggling. So he did do it, but I just think that he has to maybe see that out in other games as well, to be able to win the game, then necessarily keep with your style of play. And then lastly, what frustrates me is I think he relies too much, because you mentioned this in the past about players with yellow cards, and he's got to make a substitution right away. So he relies way too much on analytics for yellow cards, instead of just saying, hey, this is my best players, I have trust in my player, and you give that personal touch where you say, hey, you have a yellow card,
Be careful.
you know what you have to do, do not get that second yellow. And I think for like a Barella, especially the Bologna game, although Radu lost that game because we should have gotten a tie at the very least, and we ended up losing, he made certain subs that I disagreed with. And then especially taking out Barella in like the 60th minute. This is your catalyst in that midfield. He's the one that's the winner, brings the ball up, can create something. You change the formation. You put 3 strikers between Dzeko and Dzeko never touched the ball. The team in the midfield was done, because I mentioned it over and over again. After our starting lineup, our midfielders are not good enough quality to win you games, to create something. We have no creativity on the bench in the midfield. Vidal is not that player. Gagliardini is not that player. And Vecino is not that player. So we do not have those players.
But you got Brozovic.
So you make those substitutions, and you don't have that spark, that added someone in the midfield to create something. And then what really got me upset also, Çalhanoğlu already he got the yellow card. He was going to miss this game versus Udinese.
And they took him off.
He subbed him
that
out.
didn't make
That's the
sense.
only guy that can play soccer.
So leave him in.
And you take him out to put in Vecino or whoever it was.
Yeah.
It's just that's the part that frustrates me. So either he doesn't have the clarity to see that, or he's just looking literally at his analytics and his stats tell him, play with a yellow card at this minute of the game, take him out. You don't want to risk a red card, or we got to try to play more direct to be able to score and get more chances. So those are all things that he's looking at a stat sheet instead of understanding, maybe having that intuition. Maybe
He follows a system, I feel like, rather than he uses a system instead.
Before we go to
Overtakes it.
the relegation race, I got a question for you. You've been high on this coach for a long time, and I'm just trying to understand. I'm posing the question to the table. What's going on with Atalanta? Again, before we shift it to Salernitana, I know they got the 1-1, but Atalanta is the team that I know that we just talked about the top four, right? We said, it's great that they qualified a couple matches before, but it's also because a team like Atalanta didn't show up this year to challenge in that same position.
It puzzles me. I was with one of our friends from Bergamo, Mirko, and I was asking the same question you asking me. It's not about Gasperini. Something I think is internally that is happening since the news that the Americans, they bought the team and Percasa is no longer 100% on the top of the,
He's
of the
still
managing.
making all
I
the
know,
decisions.
still, Marco.
They're just background people.
The coincidence is, as soon as the news came around that Atalanta was sold, something happened. I mean, Zapata, he never came back healthy. We know it. But Atalanta is not about one player. Atalanta is a system. The system was working like a well-oiled machine, the way Peter said it before. And then all of a sudden, from the second half of the Campionato, I started to see Atalanta just really putting down a poor performance one after the other. Now this morning, today, tiny against Salernitana. I know Salernitana
He's fighting for that
They
life.
almost
fighting.
lost.
That's what I'm saying. I said, but this is Atalanta. Atalanta is at the top, one of the top three teams in Italy the last 5 or 6 years. So it's something that is structurally for me that we don't know. It's happening over there because Gasperini is the type of person that he plugs the hole very quickly and he knows how to do it.
It's very easy. Obviously, we know their home record is terrible.
Nothing to do with the Gosens too. Not even Gosens.
You're never gonna get Champions League when you have such a poor home record. Same thing with Napoli and the Scudetto. If you don't win games at home, you're not gonna do well. But why? Why are they not doing? Why besides just home? But what happened to them this year? Why did the magic, go away?
I think even individual performances. I think look at Muriel, what he's done in the past 2 years. He doesn't have the same spark with this Atalanta team. What he was able to, literally everything he touched turned into goal. Missing Zapata, they did not have that formidable number 9 big physical style that Gasperini needs. In January, you get rid of your starting left back, Gosens, who unfortunately had 2 hamstring injuries, so you also lost that part of your team. The wing back play for Atalanta is everything. Certain maybe additions to the team, Boga, who I always think as a fantastic player, but way too inconsistent.
He's been terrible.
Not the guy to take that ball and score or create.
2 assists,
He
0
needs
goals.
Yeah, you need to do more. So I know, after the Americans bought, they maybe started tanking as far as their level of play, but even before the start of the season, they weren't having this great season. So I think that it's a mix, a little bit of that lost magic, a little bit of maybe not foreseeing something, making certain changes in the beginning to try to add. I know they did also add Demiral, who I think has been fantastic for this Atalanta team. And they found a solid rock in the defense, when you lose Romero. So I don't know. It's just, for me, I feel like just that the magic this year, you're allowed an off year. I do want to see them come back. I think Gasperini is the right man for this team. It all depends on him, I think, because I think the Atalanta management are going to give him the keys. They already departed with Sartori, who's a top sporting director. He was also the one to create the Chievo Verona dream, bringing them into Europa League, and he kind of did the same thing with Atalanta, bringing them into Champions League. But does Gasperini want to stay? One, which I don't think he wouldn't have any issue. And is the locker room supporting him? Those are my two questions. Either way, besides that, Gasperini stays, and I think Atalanta next year are going to come back stronger.
Do you have any opinion that's different? Or same thing?
No, not really. I think he was always playing at the style of his that he played. At the end of the action, they always came up with something, and this year they're not. And I don't know if Zapata was the cause of that they were not able to finish. And previously, all the build-up, all the work, at the end, somebody finished it. Like Muriel finished it, Zapata finished this year. It's not happening.
Yeah, and they also didn't have. I think Pete, you made a good point. They just didn't have any replacements. Like I know it's worked so well their business model of selling their guy and then they have another guy that pops up. Doesn't always work out like that. And when they lost Zapata, they had nothing.
Marco, the high tempo that Atalanta plays is a factor too. Atalanta has always played a soccer with a lot of speed and high tempo, so it's a short team. And Muriel, given the fact that he used to come in from the bench and being very, very, very assertive and just being very concrete and just put the ball behind the goalkeeper back, I think the fact that Muriel has been given all the responsibility to play from the very beginning, I think has taken away from his spark that he used to have when in the past couple of years. So,
he had the best goal ratio last season, and now he was a substitute. Now he's a starter, and he can't really play with. Atalanta need a real number 9 over there.
Let's move on to the relegation race, because honestly, it's like unbelievable what we're watching right now. Salernitana, I know it's a little bit disappointing because we thought they were going to get a win at some point against this Atalanta, which really would have been unbelievable because they would have been in 17th place with the game in hand. Right now, they do sit 2 points behind Cagliari. They're still in 18th place, but remember, they have one game less played than the rest of them.
Versus Venezia, which is a head-to-head.
Yeah.
And Venezia, good teeing me up. Venezia also sacked their coach. They sacked Zanetti. Today, Cagliari sacked Mazzarri. So everyone is kind of in this weird position where they don't understand what's happening, how they're in this position, but they kind of are. Davide Nicola, I know we've spoken about it many times, what he did with Crotone, he pulled off a miracle with them in 2017. He really is a specialist at this because he's making this team believe they have no business fighting against Atalanta the way that they did. They won 3 in a row. This was almost 4, but still a tie. It took them 18 rounds to get 8 points. They're at now 10 points in the last week and a half, 2 weeks, which is fantastic. Do you guys believe that Salernitana are going to stay in the Serie A?
Mike, somebody else can answer the question, and if you could check Salernitana, they have to play Venezia, and then who are the?
I do believe they might be, because Cagliari is going to slip up. I'm sorry, Cagliari is just, I see them on a cliff already with one foot off the cliff and the other one trying to, the banana peel is just giving in too. So they just then I see Cagliari on a free fall, and this was a very bad decision to sack Mazzarri now. I mean, there's two games left. Just
So
Stick with it.
So the games left that they got to play, Salernitana are playing Venezia, then Cagliari, Empoli, and Udinese.
So both had that.
It's those two.
So it's gonna be an interesting one.
So Salernitana, Cagliari.
Yeah, exactly.
The
So that's gonna.
They have the momentum.
All I know is that's gonna have the highest rating, one of the highest rated matches of the season for sure. I think that's gonna be a crazy.
If
crazy
Salernitana wins against Venezia,
they're gonna be higher.
they're going to be
By a
higher than
point.
Cagliari by 1 point.
Yeah. Wow.
And then there is Cagliari,
there's
Salernitana.
head-to-head.
Wow. That's going to be the game, because if you win that, you go +4.
But it's still not over though. But it's very.
Yeah, but you go +4 with 2 games.
That's a psychological game more than anything.
So I posed the question. Antonio answered.
I said it last time. I said I think they're gonna pull off a miracle.
Salernitana, they're going to pull it off.
I think they're gonna do it.
Peter?
Nicola does it again.
Really?
I think so. Why not? I think they can beat Venezia. They've been on good form. A lot of times towards the end of the season, it's how you're playing.
Yeah.
Right?
They almost beat Atalanta.
Pete, but who owns Salernitana right now?
We don't know yet.
Is it still the?
No, it's not.
It's
Officially, no.
No?
I don't know if you know something else. But
Let me know after.
Iervolino is the owner on paper. So.
Yeah, I think the way they're playing now, and they're coming after this 3 wins and a tie, I think they're going to pull it off.
Your phone? You got to answer?
The only way Cagliari can stay on if they hire Iachini. Iachini is
He's
another
a Paramount.
someone, yeah.
He's a Paramount.
It's another specialist of the La Salvezza.
You know who they should get?
Who?
Serse Cosmi.
Cosme, you're right.
Is he unemployed?
Yeah, Cosme.
He's DJing right now.
He's DJing.
He does it in the summer.
I'll give my answer. I'm gonna be different than you guys.
Yeah.
I say they don't make it. I say the dream will not live on. I ruined the mood.
Just
Killer,
because
yeah.
you want to be
Hey,
fit. What do you
who's
say,
gonna-
Mikey?
who's
No,
I
I think
said from
I
last
can't
podcast,
imagine.
I think
I
so.
can't imagine a season where Genoa and Cagliari both go down. It's just it's almost unimaginable. It's really crazy to me that even Genoa is going down. So the fact that them and
Genoa's
Cagliari, I don't
crazy,
believe
yeah.
it.
But you know what? Genoa and Cagliari for the past couple of seasons have narrowly,
They're
Yeah,
flirting
he came
with it.
through.
and so it's all comes down to, you know, not even the ownership now, but the mismanagement of the past couple of years, and just the momentum of that the team has taken. Cagliari, more importantly, because Cagliari looked like they were free, and then Mazzari for some reason got caught again. So
One crazy thing. I know it's not Serie A related, but I just want to give a shout out. I know you love this guy. Ancelotti won with Real Madrid. He's now the first manager to win in all 5 of the major leagues: Serie A, Premier League, Bundesliga, Liga, and now La Liga. He's won all of the championships. How high is Ancelotti ranked in your book? And he still has a semifinal to play against Manchester City. They're 1 goal down. How is he top? Is he top 3?
Ever, you're saying?
Top 3 right now.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, you can go?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, yeah, I think so. Everyone thought when he took the Everton job that, he's finished or he's not. But once he goes back to a team that can compete, he brought life into this Real Madrid who was doing horrible last season, and he gave them willpower and done incredible, and they look like a team that's impossible to beat, especially in Champions League. So I think for sure
Not
top
impossible. They just lost to
I
Man
said
City.
they look like okay, but I'm saying they're a goal down and they were playing England, and Man City's were one of the favorites to win in the beginning of the Champions League season, while Real Madrid I don't think many people had.
Just saying they don't look impossible to beat.
I'm complimenting him. But regardless, I think top 3 for sure for me, Ancelotti. I don't know if you guys agree with me on
So
that. or not.
some people say that Ancelotti needs the best players in the world in order for him to be successful. So when he goes to the top teams, he'll always do well. But then he went to Everton and he didn't do as well as the other teams. I mean, I thought he was doing a great job in Napoli, and then because of the president, whatever happened there, I thought he could have done very well there. No, definitely, yeah, he's got to be one of the top 3. He's the players like him. I think he's very good in the locker room. He comes also from a history and from a background of winning. He always was with a lot of winning teams. He won Champions League, so he's got that winning mentality. Definitely top 3.
2 other pieces of business that we got to mention before we move on. Palermo. There are these reports
Americans
that Palermo, no, not Americans, the Manchester City group, the City Football Group are buying Palermo for €6 million, a valuation of €6 million. I'm seeing a smile go on your face.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
boy.
thinking Palermo City.
Palermo City. Well, there was actually a report that they bought back the name because you know how it was Città di Palermo, because that's
The logo.
it's city. Yeah,
Right.
Palermo, it means it in Italian, to add to their network of teams. Obviously, I know people are going down the list and like, all right, City Football Group doesn't make every team like their Manchester City. They don't spend like that. But I feel like the potential of Palermo is massive.
Yeah.
Their fan base, and you meet people from Palermo all around the world. Obviously, a super historic team. It's a team the closest team to your heart, right? How do you feel about this news?
I mean, that would be fantastic because we've been in Palermo a few times together. We were there when Gattuso was there. We went to see a game. The fan base is unbelievable. They get 34,000 for every game, no matter who they play. They're really passionate. We walked the streets of Palermo when we were there a month ago. I mean, there really a lot of opportunities there to have really a great team. If you invest, and if we remember a few years ago, Palermo used to have half of the team of Palermo used to be in the national team. I mean, you can really build and you can really do well in Palermo. I'm excited. I mean, if something like that I know that I spoke to somebody from Palermo, and they do confirm that there is something going on.
I know there's some traditionalists. I mean, they're in Serie C, so I don't even know how that's an argument. But some traditionalists that say they don't want to have, a city football group by Palermo. Do you feel that same thing?
They don't want what?
They don't want like a
big
foreign
corporation.
investment, huge corporate company to buy.
No. Palermo wants to win. They don't care where the money is coming from. Just put a winning team. They will love it.
Pete, you're probably the most well versed in these negotiations, in the team ownerships, and in the smaller clubs.
Yeah, well, I think when Palermo at first, now with the city group, they're going to have access to a lot of players. That's the biggest thing, especially in Serie C.
That's a good point.
Where you're going to get all these players on loan to play for Palermo. These could be the rising stars to then, bring that team up into a Serie A.
Loan
That's
De
number
Bruyne
one.
For a couple of matches.
And that's number one. I don't know about that, but that's number one. That's number one, where they can be able to bring some top talent, young talent, and Palermo has that history of developing young talent. I agree with Gaetano as far as the city. Palermo is, if not, one of the most passionate piazze, right, in Italy, and I consider it close to Napoli. How as big of a city that Palermo is, it's a one-team city. Whereas all the other popular cities, Milan, Genoa, they all have multiple teams. So that's also an influence. And then I think, Man City, the group, traditionally with the other teams that they own, they're in lesser markets. I think if there's an opportunity to get into Serie A, which I think they'll have the funds and the possibility to move right up into Serie A, now there's serious money to be had with TV deals. So there's going to be an actual interest for Man City to be able to, the City Football Group, be able to build this Palermo team up. And I think marketability is huge. It's a historic team. The pink color is iconic, and you have fans from all over the world, expatriates from Palermo.
Pete, you should be taking over. I gotta be honest with you. Forget about this stupid.
When you give me the loan, we can buy the.
We can talk about that.
I got a question for you. Who's gonna get to Serie A first, Bari or Palermo?
Of course, Bari.
It depends.
Are you nervous now?
No, I'm not.
It depends.
Bari's got the team and he's got the management because
you got De Laurentiis who doesn't spend that much. Now you're gonna go against City Football Group who's got all the funds in the world.
Oh boy.
Let me tell you something. Wow. Bari has got passions. Okay, we've been lagging for the last 7, 8 years, 10 years. It's a lot.
You need more than passion to get to Serie A.
No, there is a fever right now because I speak with my cousins and I speak with a lot of my friends. I just send you a text with the body, all the stuff. So there is a fever right now going on. Now the stadium gets filled up. A 60,000 seating stadium gets filled up. A lot of people, they have the fever. They just bought into this new project of Bari. They wanted to see Bari at the top of the level that we were accustomed to. Number one. Number two, I never was given the opportunity to reply to Ancelotti the top three. I think it's the top two. The top two. Actually, I would say it's number one.
You had all that time to think.
I will sack Mancini right now, and I will put Ancelotti to be the coach of the national team.
There we go.
To be honest with you,
one other big surprise and big excitement is Ascoli. They officially qualified for the playoffs to hopefully try to have a run in at Serie A. This team, I was talking to Matt, obviously Matt Rizzetta, who's going to be coming by. His company, the North 6 Group, they have an investment into Ascoli. He's going to come on and speak, and we're going to have some content with him because I think it would be really cool to follow along with an ownership group who's fighting to get into Serie A and to watch the playoffs with him. But they were predicted, I believe, to be 16th place in the beginning of the season, risking to go down to Serie C when they first invested in the group. And now they are currently officially qualified to get into the playoffs. We have to see what their ranking would be. They beat Cremonese, who was the second place team. Yeah. Even Lecce failed to qualify as well. Nobody qualified for Serie A. We thought Lecce and Cremonese could have done it this weekend. So for Ascoli, I think it's going to be a very fun ride. Obviously, we always have their giveaways on Instagram. Lots of people getting their Ascoli jerseys. If you haven't gotten yours, you're getting yours, by the way. Now, we spoke to the club there. They were busy preparing for the playoffs, but they said everybody's getting their stuff.
I got mine.
Did you?
I got my shirt.
You got an Ascoli jersey?
Of course I do.
I don't even have
I
one.
got
the
one
first
too.
one I
You
got.
have one?
Yeah.
Hey, what's
I'm
going on?
Wait, we don't-
I'm
we
special.
don't have one.
Hey, but you're
I'm
the one
special. I
with the
got
connections.
friends.
You're definitely special.
I'm friend. I got
Hey,
friends.
Matt, don't forget about me.
I think
No.
we have him coming by in a couple days.
Nicola needs to sign off. So if you want to get your shirt, you can
That's
and you
fine.
can have to go through me.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
Just the last thing, I guess, unless you have something else.
No.
I just want to say, rest in peace to Mino Raiola, who, we saw the whole ordeal the last couple of days, but I think he's such a historic figure within modern football, and a lot of times the agent gets portrayed in a negative way, but I bet you ask any of his players what Mino meant to them, and there's a reason why someone is so successful. The work that you do and what you do to create your brand in a sense. Anybody can say it, right? You have to be able to start from the bottom, and a lot of top transactions went through Mino's hands. We got Haaland now, Ibrahimovic, Nedved in the past. So there's a lot of history there, and I think in the end there's that respect, right? Maybe on the battleground between sporting director and agent, there's a lot of negotiations and things that go on. But I remember, Sabatini just came out now, who's a historic sporting director, where he pretty much said, Mino on the negotiation table was an SOB, but I value him and I respect him as a person, because when I was on my deathbed, Mino called my wife willing to pay for my flight to come to America to see doctors, and he was gonna, trying to help him. So, a lot of times we don't always know the true person because of what we see in the news or what we see, whatever, what we don't know. But there's a lot behind the scenes. So,
Guys,
I was gonna tee you up and ask you. That was the last thing I was gonna ask. Obviously, to pay respects to Mino, because I do agree with you. I think he's this figure that sometimes everyone used him as a punching bag in a way, just to blame them. When in the meantime, he was just doing what his players wanted. He was kind of like that front face. For you, who acts as a football agent, what did Mino? Maybe I'm wrong. Did Mino change the game of like the way negotiations were done and the way that you saw players being represented?
Oh yeah,
For you?
He was one of the super agents, as they say. He was so smart in his responses and how he talked to the media. I think he always had a certain game plan, and he knew what he had to do for his players. And I think that's something that I also use sometimes when I work. I was like, what would these top guys do? And Mino is one of the guys that I was always thinking about, saying, what would he do in the situation? And you know what? You have to just be that person to make something happen.
Wait,
would Mino do?
Marco, let me just say
Let's
something
say it off
about Mino
camera.
Raiola. He was the one that he used to just bait the hook the proper way. Okay?
Yeah.
He used to just bait, and then everybody that would start something. Then from there, that's why I would call, actually, if I make a suggestion to you, your name should be Peter Curtiola. Okay? So, because something that you might want to learn from him, not, it's been a controversial figure, not one of my favorite guy, nevertheless, God rest his soul. But, he took Donnarumma away from us. He took some of the, some of our other players in the past. But, again, you have to just tip your hat the way he actually planted this whole situation in a positive way for some of the big names that were over here, even in the Campionato Italiano, and he made them who they are. I don't think he was he Insigne too? No.
He was.
Yeah,
for a
he
little
was,
bit.
and
For a
he
little
was
bit.
separated.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
So, but
it's like in any negotiation, right? There's an objective for one side and the other side. So when you have that balance of power, that's what's so important. When you know your worth, that's leverage, right? You know what you can offer and what you can get. So I think having that, a player especially, has a lot more confidence, because it's about having a support system behind them.
You know what I wish? I have zero idea if this is even happening, but it would have really been cool to see like a documentary on his life. I don't know if anyone was ever working on that before, or if they have like old footage, because I know, there's always the famous story of him coming, from a pizzeria. I was told by somebody from the inside that story is a little bit fake.
Yeah.
Like that
He's a lawyer.
Yeah, like
He's a lawyer.
He was not running like a local pizzeria on your corner,
Netherlands,
like he was like running like a chain restaurant
his father.
of pizzerias. Like it was higher.
That's interesting.
higher tier. But
Finish
I do respect him, and I would say that I know he always got a bad rep, but nobody ever looked at the opposite side where, you know, he was doing what was best for his players. Like, his players wanted that. He was just used as like that figurehead to be able to blame. So rest in peace to him, and hopefully his family, you know, they could continue on. I know his son, right? Does his son take over? They have the rest of the
Yeah, I don't know
company that
exactly who's going to
continues.
take over. There's also the brother, so there's a lot. They even mentioned, I don't know if it's true, but Ibrahimovic could potentially be someone in part of that agency.
How did they come up with that? Like,
I mean, this is all rumors.
Yeah,
maybe.
I don't know.
But Marco, I'm going to ask a question for you, since you have more insider information. At this
What
level,
inside
both of
information
you, at this level, is Mino Raiola that goes to the player, or the top player that they go to him?
I'm sure that it was him that was going. I'm sure that he's the one who was able to choose at a certain point. You know, obviously in the beginning, he had to sell
So
themselves.
who makes the first phone call? He does, or is Pogba or Ibrahimovic or?
I'm sure all
think
of
it's both
all
ways.
of those guys
not
that
one.
that he was the one who was choosing them. You know, I think that if you got taken by Mino, it was kind of like to say like, oh, this guy, he doesn't just take anybody.
Yeah.
He wasn't gonna take a no-name player.
But
for
a lot of
example.
people fail to understand too. It's not just Mino. He has a whole agency behind him. He's just the face of it at the end of the day. So they do have a lot of players that we don't know about, like the smaller guys and stuff like that. So it's not just the superstars. But definitely all our condolences to Mino's family and all his friends and stuff. I actually want to finish off with this interesting piece of news. Antonio's favorite coach, Andrea Pirlo, we might be seeing him on the sidelines very soon. They're saying Thiago Motta for Spezia is not going to be continuing most likely next season, and Pirlo's number one on the list. Are you excited for that?
Absolutely. I see Pirlo deserves not a job, a great job. So Spezia could be just a trampoline for him to establish himself as one of the top coaches. So if he does very well with Spezia, he might well just
Go to Milan maybe?
Why not? I will be so happy.
That's the right level for him. The
Why
right
not?
level
to star.
The right level is to go to a team like Spezia. now.
So he can grow.
Yeah, but I think also Thiago Motta, what he's been able to do with the Spezia team.
He did
you
pretty
know,
decent.
to
Yeah, for
second
Serie-
in Italiano, who we consider to be one of, if not the best coach for this year in Serie A. Thiago Motta has brought Spezia to salvation once
He
again.
kept them out of trouble.
And he
What I
wasn't
read, they
able to
want a
get
new
any
environment.
transfer.
From what I read, it wasn't just the results, because obviously he was about to be sacked in December, and then he turned it around. They were saying that they wanted something fresh and they wanted something different after Thiago Motta.
But I think even for him, I think he's already done what he could do with the Spezia team. You saved them. Better that you go on for something different.
Makes sense.
Anything else?
My last thing, I'm working on some statistics. I'm watching the games, and I'm getting really fed up and really upset. And how much time has been wasted by the goalkeepers, by the throw-in, by the substitutions, by throwing the ball out on the sideline. And I'm timing it. I have a stop clock. And I'm timing it.
You're like a crazy man watching on this TV.
That's funny.
And once I have the results, it will be first
How long?
on IFTV.
How long
It
you
will
need
come
for
out.
this so the people know?
Give me give me a week or so.
Okay.
No, but we gotta film this. Come
10
on.
days.
I feel
We
like
have to
if we
film
went
this.
into his room, it looks like a stakeout. You know, like an FBI
a
looking
bar
for a
room. It's a
murderer.
bar room.
Like he's just got like pinned all pictures,
Post-its and
timing, statistics all
Listen,
over.
it's
He's
true.
losing sleep. That's why you haven't been here in the last couple
That's
of
the
weeks.
only thing that
stopwatches.
Serie A needs to be improved, not to waste
But you know what? It's not
much
just
time.
Serie A, man.
No. We are the maestri on that.
Listen,
We are the maestri on that, and that's gonna hand.
the
Believe
last-
me, I
the-
get so angry myself.
the last 10 minutes of a game, if you're winning, there's no play. There is no. Everybody's on the floor. The ball goes out. They throw in.
They sound so alike now.
I know. You guys sounded exactly.
Gaetan, you always
alike.
make fun of Antonio. Now you sound just like him.
These are the angry men.
Well,
angry
You know what you remind me of?
he agreed with me.
Oh!
I was on this track here long before you. Go double check on
You
that.
remind me of like the angry neighbor that's mad that they're kicking the ball outside, both of you. Anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you download it, Paramount Plus. Subscribe if you're new. As always, we'll talk to you soon. Ciao,
Forza
ragazzi.
Calcio.
Are you really timing it?
Yeah.
I like that pause. Yeah.
What do you think? It's got nothing to do over there in the airport. What is checking the plane? Hey, he's checking the plane. He's timing between one plane and the other. Bang, bang, bang.